unspoken codes and unbreakable rules. And now, state laws and local regulations are used to ensure segregation, to ensure the formal, structured separation of the races based on color. Increasingly, local officials in several southern states devise rules that blatantly rob Black Americans of not only day-to-day freedoms, but of their right as citizens to vote. And in a strange and staggering decision, the Supreme Court upholds segregation, while much of the appalling, degrading violence goes unprosecuted. But new organizations and renewed efforts reflect the spirit and resolve that drove the Underground Railroad itself.
Come all you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good Lord.
A new political activism takes hold. Voices rise from the struggle.
Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on?
The Industrial Revolution builds momentum. In coal mines, factories, steel mills, on the railroads, workers fuel the engine of economic expansion. They organize to gain basic standards of pay and conditions. The urge of the people pushes democracy forward. 72 years after the Seneca Falls Convention, the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gains women the right to vote. British women gain the ballot as well. And freedom movements begin to stir in Africa and the East and resonate across Ireland. But there is no guarantee of freedom's gain. In Europe, Russia, Asia, the world is swept by forces of fear and national governments of oppression and terror. Across Europe, trains roll to the death camps. The gates of those camps will be swung open by American soldiers of every color. But the U.S. Army and the USA are still segregated, separate, unequal. The world pauses at war's end, seeking ways to curb the aggression of nations, while a new chorus of freedom is rising from lands long colonized by outside powers. Mohandas Gandhi wins independence for India by marshaling the power of non-violent protest. Gandhi's philosophy inspires young activists in America, but they add to it the hard lessons clear from centuries of struggle. Seeds long planted begin to bear fruit.
The Negro school children must be given their rights.
The Supreme Court finally agrees segregation is unconstitutional. Some rejoice, others resist. Freedom riders and freedom marchers, people of goodwill, north and south, reach across lines of color and vow to overcome.
My four little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Opposition digs in.
Bombing of this Birmingham, Alabama church claimed the lives of four.
A distraught leader looks into the lens of history.
Maybe our mission to save the soul of America.
On March 7, 1965, on a bridge outside Selma, Alabama, marchers faced troopers and tear gas. America faces a turning point. The images touch a nerve with the American public. 9 days later, the president addresses the nation.
Therefore, this Monday, I will send to the Congress a request for legislation to carry out the amendment of the Constitution.
The struggle continues. The awakening of freedom's cry echoes across the western plains and across the country as the nation begins to gain awareness of its responsibility toward its native peoples. Women, resolved and resilient, work to open doors to opportunities and choices long denied. The gay pride movement promises a more open, inclusive society for all people. And the strength and resolve of Latinos weave into the essential fabric of our widening national identity. This land of immigrants is constantly renewed and constantly challenged to realize the full promise of freedom. An ever more connected world watches, listens, and shifts. Once in a lifetime, the poet Seamus Heaney writes, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme.
Who says that you must give up the struggle against apartheid?
Justice flows from choices and action. In this world, our world, today, 27 million people are enslaved. Women, men, girls, boys. Trapped, sold, starved, abused. 27 million sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, cousins and strangers aching for the rumble of the freedom train. And the outstretched hands of today's freedom conductors. We look to Harriet Tubman. She escaped. She was free. She went back. And we say, go, Harriet. I'd have been with you, Harriet. I'd have helped. We look to others who've reached out across time, across race, across cultures. They are here. Harriet's here. Freedom is a struggle. Our struggle. Our chance to connect, to grasp the hand reaching for ours, stretching toward freedom. It is the birthday of freedom, the unlocking of the chains, the end of the auctions, the pure sweet sense of escape. And now, no threat of recapture. The end of slavery offers a second chance to America. With malice toward none, with charity for all, the President says, let us strive to finish the work we are in. It is the work of making real America's founding promise. In the aftermath of the Civil War, the U.S. Constitution is changed, amended. Slavery is outlawed forever, and the Constitution now specifies that no state shall deny its citizens, any of its citizens, equal protection under the law. It is an historic and hopeful victory. But over the next decades, this victory will vanish. In America, the struggle for the basic rights of democracy is loaded with promise and contradiction. Millions of immigrants sail to this land eager for opportunity and desperate to escape places where there is no promise of individual liberty. But in this land, teeming with energy and resourcefulness, in this land shouting of liberty, many of these new Americans, including children, are worked almost as enslaved African Americans had been. Women fight for the basic right to vote. And Native Americans, stripped of their homelands, entire tribes marched past the frontier, are now forced from that land, as the peace treaties they've signed are ignored. The tribes are decimated by the relentless push west. For African Americans, slavery is gone, but the Gulf, the racial divide so deep and pervasive since the beginning of this country, remains.
Sometimes I feel like
America is a nation, in the North and South, of unspoken codes and unbreakable rules. And now, state laws and local regulations are used to ensure segregation, to ensure the formal, structured separation of the races based on color. Increasingly, local officials in several southern states devise rules that blatantly rob Black Americans of not only day-to-day freedoms, but of their right as citizens to vote. And in a strange and staggering decision, the Supreme Court upholds segregation, while much of the appalling, degrading violence goes unprosecuted.